Hi, I'm Christine Denny, and this is A Bridge to You. A Bridge to You is a place where we give you the time, the space, support, encouragement, inspiration, and most importantly, the fundamental tools that you need to find your way through to the journey that is the most important one that you can take in your life. And that journey is building a bridge to you. Now, I don't mean the you that's the superficial you that we often present to the outside world, but I mean getting in touch with the real anchor of who you are as a person, the fundamental underpinning of what really matters to you in your life. Because when you live your life in line with your true values and you go out into the world presenting yourself in a truthful way that really matters to you, life takes on a whole new paradigm and you get a really centered connectedness that's really wonderful. You'll probably find that you're spending a lot of time satisfying other people's ideals and what they find of value. So there's a lot of media, marketing, societal influences that are bombarding us in our daily lives and challenging us to live a certain way, speak a certain way, drive a certain car, live in a certain house. And if you really think about it, a lot of those things may not even be of value to you, and yet you're rushing about in your daily life trying to satisfy those ideals. We all have little backstories that are living in our subconscious, and they can really rule the way that we present ourselves to the world. So my backstory happened when I was a very little girl, and my mother had a dancing school, and we used to have visiting teachers would come along and give workshops. And one night they were all sitting around the dinner table, and one of the teachers said to my mother, "Poor little Chrissy, she tries so hard but she'll never be any good." Wow, kaboom! Can you imagine the effect that that has on a little child hearing that, especially one who tries so hard all the time? Now, what I didn't realise is that I carried this backstory around with me for years and years and years. But once I discovered it and I weeded it out of the garden of my subconscious, if you like, and I planted a lovely little sunflower that had a positive message, I was able to move forward in my life. And it was about 6 months after that that I created and produced my tap dance syllabus, Tap Attack Oz, which is now incredibly successful all around the world. So I really encourage you to take the time and look for these backstories, because making a little change in your subconscious and the way you go into the world can have huge benefits in the long run. So many of us feel stuck in a rut. It's a really normal way to feel when you're not living in line with your values. So once again, when you're feeling like what you're doing really represents who you are as a person, you feel invigorated and alive and you want to jump out of bed every morning and you don't even feel like you're working. So if you're stuck in a rut, come along to one of the seminars and find out why, because it could be a very simple thing to just change a few of the things you're doing, do things that are really in line with who you are as a person, and you won't be stuck in the rut anymore. The rut is just blocked energy, and the energy is blocked because you're not pursuing things that are of value to you, so you constantly feel conflicted and sort of lackadaisical and ambivalent about what you're doing. When you love what you do, you just want to get out there and do it. Society has a real need to put us into a little box that they can wrap up and stick us in a corner and say, well, that is what that person is. So perhaps you're a mum, and you're thinking, well, there's so much more to me than just being a mother. Or perhaps you're an executive, but you really love to paint. Or maybe you're a school teacher, but you really love producing music. We can be so much more than just one thing. And if you've got elements of yourself that are not allowed to shine and they're still sort of left in your back pocket, that's what gives us this feeling of discontent, because we're thinking there's so much more to who I am and I want people to see the full experience of who I am, and you want to experience the totality of who you are. So again, I encourage you to look and find what are the other aspects of yourself that haven't been allowed to shine, because once you bring them out and give them a little bit of sunlight, you will become so much happier, the energy flows, and you feel like you're really living your life in true line with your values and everything that you have to bring to the world. Not just one thing or the little thing that sits in the pigeonhole, but you can bring everything to the world that you have to offer. And that's really when you're living in line with who you are and you feel that centeredness and connectedness that brings you real joy. There are so many incredibly successful people out there who still feel really discontented. And I think the reason for that is that they haven't been allowed to let their other elements shine and enjoy the full totality of who they are. So perhaps you're an incredibly successful executive, but the discontentment comes from perhaps you're good at other things too. So just being good at something is not enough reason to spend your whole life doing it. Maybe you've been one particular job for 10 years, but now you feel discontented. It's okay to take out another talent and skill and move in a new and different direction. You can be more than one thing. You can express more than one side of yourself. And I think that is a very, very important message and a fundamental part of A Bridge to You, is it's not just about where your talents lie, it's about where your heart and your soul lies. So the first thing you can do is put in your diary to visit A Bridge to You website once a week perhaps, and just read a few of the articles that I've written. Now, the articles I've written are not designed for you to necessarily read it and just agree with everything I say. They're ideas and concepts that I truly believe can add to your life and lead you on a new path that can really bring you joy and contentment. But at the same time, everybody is different. So if you read an article and you think, that really doesn't resonate with me, that is fine, and that's a good thing too, because it's giving you a reaction. And that reaction is telling you who you truly are as a person and what is of value to you. So whenever you visit my website, keep that in the back of your mind. It's not about you agreeing with me, it's about you thinking for yourself and using my ideas and concepts to guide you to who you really are. Now, the second way that you can get your journey started is visit the website and download the free ebook. Now, this is called The Happiness Myth, and there is a lot of fantastic concepts there for you to have a look at. Again, make up your own mind about what they mean to you, and it'll give you a great fundamental guide to who you are as a person and what is of value to you. And you can start your journey that way. And the third way, of course, is to come along to a live event, up close and personal with me, and do all the work then and there at the seminar. These are a great opportunity because you just get a different feel and a great vibe, and you can play off the other people in the room. So often our lives are so busy and we plan to do things, but we just never get around to it. But if you actually dedicate the time and the money to attending an event, you're guaranteed that you're going to actually turn up and you're going to get the benefit from that event and that work. Whereas sometimes if you download a course, you get busy and you never get around to doing it. So the primary benefit of attending a live event is that you actually show up and you dedicate the gift of that time and money to yourself, which is such an important gift that you can give to yourself. The second thing is the interaction that you have with the person delivering the seminar. In this case, that will be me. And so you get that energy that you can feed off from the person delivering the information. And the third thing, which is a really interesting benefit of attending a live event, is there's a lot of other information that comes through from the people attending the event with you. And that's whether it's a conversation that has been facilitated by a question posed by the person delivering the event, or whether it's over lunch and a cup of coffee later on. Often some of the most valuable information or insights that you gain at an event can be through the other members who are attending with you. So my final words to you are, really take the time to discover you, love you, and be you, because that truly is where the magic happens.